Welcome to our Alumni Spotlight. Today we're joined by a great women's basketball alum. We're excited to welcome Benita Martin to our show today.
Hello, Buffland.
Yeah, we're excited to have you today, Benita. Before we start, for people that don't know, Benita is a native. She's from Denver, Colorado, and something that we've worked really hard to do is recruit our great Colorado players to stay. So I love that you are from Colorado and played at CU. You are junior college All-American. You played on some of the very best teams in Colorado women's basketball history. Was on the team that had the very first sellout in the CU Event Center. And also, I don't know how many people know this, but had a very successful coaching career as well. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But Benita, we're so excited that you're with us today, and thank you for taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, let's get started. So first question for you, who inspired you as a young athlete?
You know, it's a gentleman by the name of Maurice Cheeks. He played for the Philadelphia 76ers, and actually that's how I have my number. So my number 10. You know, he was he was a point guard, even though I was a shooting guard, he was a point guard, but he was kind of like a quiet assassin. He led by example. He wasn't like really flashy or, he wasn't the star of the show, but, he was effective as a leader. And, he was pretty attractive too. So that kind of helped too. But yeah, so the looks plus, just his character on the court and, how he went about playing and his demeanor. I just really admired him.
That's awesome. Now, isn't Maurice Cheeks he was a Portland Trailblazers coach who, when the young gal that was singing the national anthem struggled with the words, he went over and sang with her? Is that the same?
That is
Maurice?
Yes, that is the same. Yes. So he had an illustrious career, both playing and transitioned to coaching, but like you never really hear a lot about him. I mean, he's just like he's been in the game for so long, and I think he's influenced so many people. But he just went about his business quietly. So he was just a big influence on me. Yeah, I really enjoyed watching him play.
Yeah. What about your time at CU? Who had the biggest influence on you during your time at Colorado in Boulder?
I think it has to be Coach Berry. You know what? It taught me so much, just discipline and like work ethic. I mean, everything that we did, it had to be full speed and it had to be, perfection. And so that's just something that I carried with me, throughout life. And so I think just that influence, but we just pushed each other to be better.
So to your CU experience, talk about how your time in Boulder, your experiences at CU, how that helped you in obtaining your first job, the impact that it had on you, as you entered the workforce after graduation.
Well, it was interesting because I had no inkling, no feeling, no thought of ever even going into coaching. But the head coach at Metro State in Denver, his name was Gerald Smith at the time. He called, Coach Berry and asked her if there's anybody on your roster that had just graduated that, is interested in coaching. So she approached me with it, knowing I think that I'm from Denver and that, she didn't know if I wanted to go in coaching, but she just asked me. So when she asked me, I said, let me give it some thought. I thought about it. And I think a couple of weeks later, I said, hey, I'll try it. I mean, it was just, I like I said, I had no idea that I was going to go into coaching, but I tried it. And 15 years later, it served me. I was a coach from 1990 to 2005, and I enjoyed it. That first year was a little rocky because we were 15 and 13, and we had lost to like West Texas State by, I want to say it was like by 90 points, and so I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to really do this coaching thing. But after that, it got better, and the next year we went like 24-3 or something like that. So it was much better. But the first years was a little rough. But I just took, I just took that same, kind of winning attitude and that tenacity that I had while playing, and just that excellence and trying to positively influence the young ladies on the team at Metro State.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And most people don't know, I actually met Benita. We met while you were coaching and while I was just a young pup right out of college getting into coaching. And I always appreciated you, Benita, for taking the time. You kind of, at tournaments, you would help me and talk to me when I was, a wide-eyed rookie. You were always so sweet to me, and I always appreciated that.
Yeah,
So
no
okay.
problem.
Yeah. Last question. Okay. So how did athletics help make you a better student when you were in Boulder, and then also a better professional today?
I think in terms of, being a student, I think it taught me the discipline, and not only that, but time management. I think back then, I don't know, how practices are crafted now, but I think back then, we could only take classes from 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to noon because we had practice at 1. And so just that time management piece, and understanding that you had to be a student first in order to be an athlete. And so it was just really important to kind of balance that time. The morning was devoted to to attending class, the afternoons were practice, and then the evenings back to, homework. And so I think it just taught that time management and that discipline, to, manage your time a little bit more, a lot more effectively, but realizing that if you don't go to school, you're not going to be able to play. So just the importance of doing both, and knowing that, back then we didn't have an opportunity to go play in the WNBA because it wasn't formed at that time. And so, your academics and in your career after playing was just extremely important. So just having that, that balance. And now it's just funny how, with my team now, so I run the diversion programs in the DA's office. And, every time that I send an email, and I think about this, every time I send an email, I start it with team, team this, or hello team. And everybody just, making everybody an integral part of the process and of the team, and letting them know that no one person, has more authority than anybody else. And so I don't put myself on a pedestal as a director of the program. It's if someone on my staff, has an answer to a question or has a process, I listen to them, and I'm not a know-it-all. And so I think just having that teamwork attitude of whoever gets the job done, whoever can get the job done, let them lead. And so it's a really good connection between my staff and me now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think you can take, the teamwork that like you're talking about as a collegiate basketball player, and truly you can implement that in any facet of your life, whether it's like you said in your office, or whether it's in your family, or what have you. So it's neat to hear, how that's evolved and maintained throughout your professional. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's been a good transition. I mean, people ask me all the time, how did you transition from coaching to this? And it's an easy transition. I mean, it's just, you're dealing with younger people now than you are, college athletes. And so it works out, and the transition is going really well.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us. And Benita, I want to thank you for being such a wonderful supporter of our current players. Your travel schedule, and you're busy, and you're all over the country doing different things, but you always make an effort to be there, to support our players and to meet them and have an impact on what they're doing now. It means so much to us to be able to connect our past with our present. Hoping we're going to have a good season this year, a season. And we'll see you soon at the event center.
Awesome. Thanks, JR, for having me. And, hopefully we'll actually be able to watch games this year. I'm looking forward to season tickets. I haven't, gotten the email yet, but we'll be purchasing them. And then I'll, bring some people up with me to support the program as always.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today on our Alumni Spotlight. Go Buffs.
Okay. All right. Yep. Go Buffs.